You will never be able to defeat racism because racism is a mentality and an ideology, right? You can't dictate your way out of how people think. What you can do is you can tell a bus driver in the 21st century that if you tell a black guy to go to the back of the bus, we will haul your ass to jail that night. Yet for whatever reason, when it comes to anti-Semitism, when someone commits an anti-Semitic act, we don't send them to jail. Instead, we get the ADL to say, let's bring them to a Holocaust museum, which A, gives them pretty bad ideas, and B, doesn't solve anything about the fundamental issue that they violated the law. So the way we solve anti-Semitism is pretty goddamn simple, and I'm really besides myself that we don't push for this with all the major Jewish organizations. When someone commits a crime, stop sending them on El Al flights. That will make them more anti-Semitic, I guarantee it. Send their ass to jail. It's not complicated. I don't care if people think that we have horns. I don't care if people think we control the banks. I don't care if people think that we run Hollywood. I don't have them think what they want. What I care is when they throw rocks through the synagogue, and the only response when people throw rocks through a synagogue is prosecuting them, which is why when Claudine Gay, the serial plagiarist at Harvard University, was discriminating against the civil rights of Jewish students, we filed a lawsuit. We took the law into our hands. And I encourage any student, whether you are Jewish or Christian, anytime your civil rights are being violated, hold your universities accountable. For those of us who live in New York, anytime Mamdani violates the law or Students for Justice in Palestine violate the law, stop sending them to Holocaust museums, stop sending them to ADL dinners, send them to jail.
All right, Shalom, Mike. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rachah, Kudash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that's teaching His word in all true faith and sincerity. And today, I just want to get into a lesson concerning the testimony of Yahushai. And in this time, you see the Lord's, His word is coming to pass. And this is all part of it as well. Esau's reaction. Because that is exactly what we witness within this clip. As the guy mentions, anti-Sem as really certain talking points. As he, he said, I don't care if they say we own the banks and we run this and that. And, pretty much their fingerprints is everywhere and the shit going back to them. Then ultimately the nigga said, just lock them up. Well, we coming into that time. Because ultimately, this devil's being frustrated. Matter of fact, let's start off with this in the book of Isaiah, chapter 44, in verse 25. Matter of fact, I started at 24. It reads, "The Lord, thus saith the Lord, thy Redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself." And this is the Lord, Yahweh Shai, boasting in His works. These are mighty works indeed. Just that process of being birthed, from a seed, and you actually growing. It said that make of all things that stretch to the earth, the heavens. These are mighty works. It says that frustrateth the tokens of the liar. That's in the same breath with stretching the heavens, because this is a powerful work indeed. The wicked being frustrated. It said the tokens of the liars, because when you read Revelation in 20th chapter, talks about once this man was released, he hit the ground running, deceiving the earth. To what you got in this time, you got Moabites, so-called Chinese, celebrating Christmas. You got homosexual Arabs. Everything is turned upside down under the watch of this man. But now it's all being broken up. Like I said, the frustrated, the tokens of the liars. And how the Lord doing that? By the way of this truth. Just understand this light that has hit the planet Earth. It says, and make of diviners mad, that turn a wise man backward and make of their knowledge foolish. See? And this is what happens when this word is on display. Now these devils gotta go back trying to drawing board. They gotta make more sacrifice. They gotta do more demonic rituals, because ultimately the right will always be stronger than the left. An example of that was you had Moses and his staff versus the two magi's and their staff. The serpent, that one serpent swallowed both of theirs. So we witnessing that in the spirit too, And that's why this is the reaction to this devil. Lock him up. Because he know he finna get locked up. Matter of fact, I think it's another one. I think that's Job. Let's see. Job 5. I started Job 5 and 14 said they meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in noonday as in the night. And that's what's happening. It said they meet with darkness in the daytime. So this nigga, his secret's out. Everybody know what this devil is trying to do. Every aspect of his plans. For an example, you got the Greater Israel Project. That's why this nigga, you got Amalek over there. Land, looking at certain nations who they want to deal with because they dealing with an expansion. And he's really trying to regrip the planet Earth as a whole, because this nigga ultimate plan is to chip everyone. But that's out in the light now. It's to engrope in the noonday as in the night, because he's a nocturnal animal. He operates very well in secret. But once the light is on him, you know what I mean? He all awkward and he's reaching. But he saved the poor from the sword and from their mouth and from the hand of the mighty. See? Because this is going to be the reaction from them. Bringing forth their sword, their mouth. Because this is part of it too. That's the rhetoric. And ultimately, it's already anti-Sam laws on a book. It's only going to get more intense because of certain talking points. That's why the nigga mentioned running the bankers. And you know what I mean? Because who really talk about the bankers? You have certain truthers, but the higher they can go is Hollywood or some shit. Or they might say a politician at best. But we know these royal Edomite families, Rothschilds and DuPonts and let's get this. The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 17, it reads, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. And that's who he wants. The woman is Israel. But so he went to make war with the remnant of her seed. The remnant is the elect, man. Because of course Esau have a gripe with Jake as a whole. But he already got 2/3. In a sense. He already won that battle. Once this nigga release NBA Youngboy, that seal the deal in a sense. These certain things that Jake gravitates to. But the remnant, those are the ones. Matter of fact, it says, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. See? So those that have this testimony, because ultimately this is against them. We are against this devil on all levels. He don't need that in the new world, resistance and truth and light. That's how this nigga got so far, because of the lack of those things. But now he's coming upon a roadblock because of this truth. And this is the reaction. Now this nigga want to lock air. He can kill everybody. Because that's what a criminal do once. Or let's say, because Esau, he's a beast. This is the world's dangerous animal. And there's nothing worse than a fucking injured animal. They the most fucking dangerous. And that's what this devil is. He's a fucking injured beast. And this word is getting to him. So he's going to lash out, man. And that was part of it. Because best believe a tiny top mentioning that, some coming down on the books, some an event that's going to lead to those things to be drawn up. You know what I mean? Psalms 37, verse 14, it reads, "The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy." And that's what you do when you up the sword or you bend the bow, you aiming. You got a target in mind. And that's the poor and needy. It says, "And to slay such as be of upright conversation." So they want to kill those that have the testimony outside, as we just read in Revelation, the 12th chapter and the 17th verse. The testimony outside, it's the same as that, having that upright conversation. It says, "Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken." So it's going to backfire on you, because the Lord telling you your time is up through the prophets in this message. So you coming with the sword, the sword going to hit you, because World War III is the fate of the so-called white man. Esau, Edom. His blessing was the sword, and that was ultimately a curse unto him. That's how he's going to be taken out. As you can see, just going back to the point, this devil, his reaction, he wants to kill those that have upright conversation. And you will have certain, like I said, truthers and shit, they might be making good points. But it's for the bigger picture. They really want to get those that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Because a nigga could say the Jews, you know what I mean? But once you get a precept, and then you mention Edom, or the bankers, the real leaders of this, you know what I mean? Now that's a real problem. But as you can see, they got to kind of beat around the bush to get this shit going. But Esau, he's at a dead end, man. So yeah, I might just hope this will edify and let it give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect, the teach word in all true faith and sincerity. Shalom.